This is lesson 4 on SAT test number 1, which you can find on the College Board website and several other places. It's a practice SAT test. Okay, continuing on here. So you need to go back to lessons 1, 2, and 3 if you don't want to start in the middle of things. Okay, it says here, questions 15 and 16 refer to the following information. It says at the top of the picture here, total cost of renting a boat by the hour. And then along the y-axis, which they called C, it's total cost in dollars. And then this way, the x-axis they called H is time in hours. The graph above displays the total cost C in dollars of renting a boat for H hours. Question 15. What does the C-intercept represent in the graph? Okay, again, I give you a little time so that you can try the question. Click pause if you didn't get the answer yet, and then I give you the answer. All right, so on number 15, you should have got A. It's the initial cost of renting the boat, which would be $5. It's between the number 4 and the number 6, which is the number 5. So even before you leave the dock, they're going to charge you $5 to rent the boat, and then they're going to charge you more per hour. Okay, number 16. It says, which of the following represents the relationship between H and C? Okay, so the answer on number 16 is C. I would use the slope-intercept formula, y equals mx plus b. Here, y again was C. X, they used H for it. X is H, the y-axis is C. All right, so the slope here is what it is between any two dots over here. Remember, slope is the rise to the run, the change in y over the change in x. So between these two dots, and again, you can pick any two dots, it doesn't matter. It went from 8 up to the number 11, so the change was 3 for the x's. For the y, it went from 8 up to 11 on the y-axis or the c. And then going left to right for the run or the change in x, it went from 1 to 2, so 1. So that makes the slope 3. And again, the y-intercept or the c-intercept was 5. So it makes c equal 3h plus 5. Number 17. The complete graph of the function f is shown in the xy plane above. For what value of x is the value of f of x at its minimum? Okay, the answer on 17 is B. Okay, the minimum in f of x. Again, f of x is a fancy way of saying y. They're just saying y. So where is y the lowest? So here's the y-axis. This would be where y is the highest, where it's the lowest would be down here. That would be this point right there. That is the lowest point on the graph. So that would make that the minimum. They didn't ask for it, but this point up here would be the highest point or the maximum. So the minimum is over at, let's see, they're counting by ones. So the minimum is over 1, 2, 3. It's at -3 and then it's down 1, 2. So it's down at -2. So what is the value of x? When it's the minimum, the value is -3. And the y value is -2. They didn't ask for the y value, so be careful. They didn't want that. They wanted the x value. So make sure you read, again, always read what they're asking for. Number 18. Y is less than -x plus a. Y is greater than x plus b. In the xy plane, if 0, 0 is the solution to the system of inequalities above, which of the following relationships between a and b must be true? Okay, the answer on 18 is A. Just plug that point in. Plug it in. So if you plug it in, that'd give you 0 is less than 0 plus A, or 0 is less than A. And then plugging 0, 0 in the next equation, you got 0 is less than, no, greater than, is greater than. 0 is greater than 0 plus B. So 0 is greater than B. Okay, I like to rearrange things, the letters, so that they're on the left side. So rearranging this, it would say A is greater than 0 because the alligator is swallowing up the letter A. And down here, rearranging it, B, it's pointing at the B, so keep it pointing. B is less than 0. Well, if A is greater than 0, that means it's a positive number. It's bigger than 0. If B is less than 0, that means it's going to have to be negative. So B is smaller than A. So A is bigger than B. A is greater than B. Oh, some of you have trouble with the symbols, so that means greater than. This is less than. It's less than because when you open it up a little bit more, it makes more of an L shape. It makes an L. Greater than, when you open it up further, makes a backwards L. So less than, greater than. Number 19. A food truck sells salads for $6.50 each and drinks for $2 each. The food truck's revenue from selling a total of 209 salads and drinks in one day was $836.50. How many salads were sold that day? Okay, the answer on this is B. Well, this is the third problem we've come to that is a system of equations. Definitely bone up on how to do systems of equations. So we have a money equation and a quantity equation. On the money equation, here's all our monies. So salads were $6.50 each, and then drinks were $2 each for a total of $836.50. Then our other equation is about how many were sold. So the salads and the drinks, total amount sold, the quantity of it was 209. So you got a money equation, an equation with the quantity. All right, so it's a system again. Like I told you before, I like to solve it using addition subtraction. It's my favorite method to use. So I'm going to multiply the second row across. You can either make these both 650, well, you'd want to make this one negative 650, or both of these 2s, so 2 and a negative 2. I'm going to go for negative 2. So negative 2x minus 2y equals, multiply it all the way across, and then 2 times 209 gives you negative 418. So it's an equivalent equation. That one's gone. Let's add it up. So 650 and negative 2 makes 450. That's gone. 2 and negative 2 gone. 836.50 plus negative 418 adds up to, let's see here. It adds up to $418.50. Last up, divide, and you get 93. Okay, and they wanted to know salads. The salads were the more expensive at $6.50. So this X represents the salads. And then Y was the drinks at $2 each. And they wanted to know how many salads. So 93 salads. Number 20. Alma bought a laptop computer at a store that gave a 20% discount off its original price. The total amount she paid to the cashier was P dollars. Including an 8% sales tax on the discounted price, which of the following represents the original price of the computer in terms of P? Okay, on this one you should have got D. The trick was here they want to know which of the following represents the original price, not the new discounted price, but the original price. So a lot of you probably started figuring out what the discount was. So the discounted or new price of the laptop would be equal to the original price. It was 20% off. So if you get 20% off, that means you're paying 80% of the value of it. So 80% of the actual price of it. And then on top of that, we have to pay an 8% sales tax. So you're paying above and beyond the 100% of the cost of the laptop. So you're paying 108% of the cost of what you got it at on sale. So you got to multiply that by 1.08. So they wanted you to solve for the original price, or whatever they wanted to know. Which of the following represents the original price? All right, so the original price, I shouldn't have used P there. That's the original price is what I used for. But the original price, you're going to have to divide then to get that P by itself. So it'd be N divided by 0.8 times 1.08. Okay, next one, 21. Dreams recalled during 1 week. In group X, none of them recalled any dreams. 28 of them, 15 recalled no dreams. 28 of them recalled between 1 and 4 dreams, and 57 of them recalled 5 or more dreams. The data in the table above were produced by a sleep researcher studying the number of dreams people recall when asked to record their dreams for 1 week. Group X consisted of 100 people who observed early bedtimes. Group Y consisted of 100 people who observed later bedtimes. If a person is chosen at random from those who recalled at least one dream, what is the probability that the person belonged to Group Y? Okay, the answer on here is C. Okay, that they recalled at least one dream. What is the probability that they're in Group Y? So you want to have Group Y on the top that recalled one dream, and then on the bottom you want that over anyone, which would be Group X and Y that observed one dream. So in Group Y, at least one dream was 28 and 57. And then over everybody that observed one dream. So that would be, Group Y, I did that wrong. Group Y, 11 and 68. Over then anybody that observed one or more dreams. So that would be 11, 28, 57, and 68. So again, Group Y on top that observed one dream, which was 11 and 68, observed one or more dreams, and then over anybody that had observed one or more dreams. So that's Group X and Y. So you had to add all those numbers up. So adding it up on the top, it adds up to 79, and on the bottom, they all add up to 164. Next table, it says questions 22 and 23 refer to the following information. Annual budgets for different programs in Kansas, 2007 to 2010. The table above lists the annual budget in thousands of dollars for each of 6 different state programs in Kansas from 2007 to 2010. Okay, question 22 says, which of the following best approximates the average rate of change in the annual budget for agricultural natural resources in Kansas from 2008 to 2010? Okay, the answer on this should have been B. Okay, so rate of change, I like to remind everybody, is just slope. They say slope a lot of different ways and use it a lot of different on all the questions. It's probably like the 5th question we've had that has something to do with slope. So the rate of change is the time change on the bottom, and then on top, it's going to be the numbers for the budgets. So the change in the budget. So the change in time here is easy. It's 2 years. And then the change in the budget, let's see, Kansas, they want agricultural natural resources from 2008 to 2010. So you got to subtract those 2 numbers on the top. So 488,106 minus 358,708. Use your calculator, and you'll get for it 129,398. Divide that by 2, and that gives you 64,699. Now, fortunately, they didn't write that answer there to mess around with us. It was in thousands of dollars, so you just put another 3 zeros on it, and that makes it about $65 million. Number 23. Of the following, which program's ratio of the 2007 budget to its 2010 budget is the closest to the Human Resources program's ratio of its budget from 2007 to its 2010 budget? Okay, on number 23, should have got B. All right, so going up here to the chart, it said, let's see, 2007 to 2010. They want us to compare them. 2007 on the top, over 2010 on the bottom, and they want the ratio to be closest to human resources. So human resources on the top here, dividing it. A ratio is a division. I would divide it. It'd be easiest just to do that. So 4,051,051 and 50 divided by 5921. Okay, that gives you about 0.684. And then you want to go ahead and do the same thing to the other ones and see which one's going to be the closest. Now I'm going to divide those two. Now this one, those two numbers are awfully close, so I'm not even going to bother doing it. You can if you want, but you're going to see it's going to be nowhere near this number. So far, the closest number to this is education, which was what the answer was. So if you do the other two, you'll get another decimal number also, and you'll see that this one is the closest of all of them at 0.684. It doesn't really take that long to do that. It's not going to, like I said, you have about a minute a question, and you definitely have a minute to do that one. Okay, 24. Which of the following is an equation of a circle in the xy plane with center 0, 4 and a radius with endpoint 4/3, 5? Okay, on 24 the answer is A. All right. Oh, I hope I don't mess this up. I'm going to draw a picture of it for you so you can visualize it. So we've got the center at 0, 4. And then it's got a point on the radius. It's got an endpoint of 4/3, 5. So 4/3 is a little past 1, 1 1/3, and then up 5. There we go. So the whole circle is going to have that radius. I made it a little bit too big down there. We'll live through it. I just wanted you to kind of see what they're talking about. There's the center, and there's an endpoint on the center. So that's the radius. The radius goes from that point 0, 4 to the endpoint of 4/3, 5. So for the equation of a circle, it's x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared equals the radius squared. So we have the center, it's at 0, 4. So x1 and y1 is where you plug the center in. So that makes it x minus 0 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals r squared. Now we have to find the radius. Like I told you, the radius is how far it is between those 2 points. So we're going to have to find the distance between those 2 points. And the distance formula is super similar to the equation of a circle. If you look into the proof of what makes the equation of a circle and the distance formula, you'll see why they're pretty much the same formula. All right, so distance formula, you subtract the x's in any order and subtract the y's and square them each, and then you take the square roots. So the x's here are 0 and 4/3. The y's are, let's see, 4 and 5. So 0 minus 4/3 is going to be negative 4/3. Square that, that makes it 16/9. 4 times 4 is 16, 3 times 3 is 9, and then 4 minus 5 is negative 1, square it, that's positive 1. All right, and now let me help you on the calculator here a little bit. 16/9, 16 divided by 9 plus 1 equals, now it makes you a messy fraction. All you have to do is hit math and then enter, and it changes it to a fraction for you. So 25/9. So the square root of 25/9, which is 5/3. So that equals, going back up here and plugging it in, it equals 5/3 squared, and 5/3 squared is 25/9. So these are both equations that you're going to want to make flashcards of, and when we're done doing the video here at a few more questions, we're just going to go to 27. Then I have another video for the rest of it. I'll show you the note cards I made for them. Okay, 25. h is equal to negative 4.9 t squared plus 25t. The equation above expresses the approximate height h in meters of a ball t seconds after it is launched vertically upward from the ground with an initial velocity of 25 meters per second. After approximately how many seconds will the ball hit the ground? What happens when it hits the ground? What is the height when it hits the ground? All right, I said too much already. Give it a try. Okay, you should have got D for the answer. The height when it hits the ground is 0. So you want to plug 0 in for h. So we want to know what the time is when h is 0. This one's super easy to solve by factoring. I'm going to factor a t out. And then remember, you set each one of those equal to 0, so t could be equal to 0. Or, well, the time could be equal to 0, or negative 4.9 t plus 25 could equal 0. Move the 25 over, so that makes it negative 25. Last up, divide by the negative 4.9, and you get on it about 5.1. So that's why the answer there was D. Again, you could have also solved it with a quadratic formula. You could have graphed it on your calculator, looked at where it crossed the x-intercept by using the 0. All right, number 26. Katrina is a botanist studying the production of pears by two types of pear trees. She noticed that type A trees produced 20% more pears than type B trees did. Based on Katerina's observation, if type A trees produced 144 pears, how many pears did type B trees produce? Okay, you should have got for this one B. So we got type A trees and type B trees. So they compared A and B here. I always say that the one that comes at the end of the sentence, she noticed that type A trees produce 20% more pears than type B. That one's at the end, call it X. So type A in terms of B then is going to be X and 20% more of X, because they produced 20% more trees than B did. So they produced 1x plus 0.2 or 1.2x pears. And it said type A trees produced 144 pears, so 1.2x equal to 144. Divide, and you get x is equal to the answer there of 120. 27. A square field measures 10 by 10 meters. 10 students each mark off a randomly selected region of the field. Each region is a square and it has a side length of 1 meter, and no two regions overlap. The students count the earthworms contained in the soil to a depth of 5 centimeters beneath the ground surface in each region. The results are shown in the table below. I gotta tell you, I have to say it. I cannot imagine that there's 107 worms under the ground. That's crazy. That's a lot of worms. And they have one here, 166 worms. I don't know where this field's at. That is crazy. They want to know which of the following is the reasonable approximation of the number of earthworms to a depth of 5 centimeters beneath the ground surface of an